You're watching Notepad. I'm your host, Ibrahim Sani. We're going to be talking about digital banks. We're going to be talking about one of the applicants for the digital bank. This is, of course, coming on the back of Bank Negara Malaysia's exposure draft on licensing framework for digital banks. They have asked for applicants to come in to submit for a digital banking license. We've seen over 30 applicants applying. Many of them have conglomerated into consortiums to pull together resources and to bid for the license that is going to be given away. I think only 5 or 6. It's a very scarce or scant kind of license that will be approved by Bank Negara. Some of the licensees or applicants I have interviewed on this show some time ago. Joining us for today is the consortium comprising of M24 Taurik, Green Packet, as well as Zico or Zaid Ibrahim and Co., better known as Zico Syariah Advisory Services. Joining us is Dr. Aida Osman, the Director of Zico Syariah Advisory Services. How are you, Doctor?
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The issue here is that this is very exciting. Some of the focus that Bank Negara wants to think about is on the profitability of, or the propensity to be profitable for the kind of consortiums that is bidding for the license. That's, of course, the big topic of the day. But very recently, I just had the Executive Director of Securities Commission on the show, talking about the Capital Market Master Plan 3, about the Islamic finance sector, about the ability for us to grow the Islamic capital markets. The demand is still there. Players are now coming very strong in terms of trying to grow this kind of segment. Could you give a little bit more of an overview of what you think the Islamic finance sector is looking at, particularly in an environment of a post-pandemic situation?
The Islamic finance sector is growing steadily. It did very well prior to the pandemic, but it didn't do too badly considering the pandemic and some of the measures that had to be taken and what is going on economically, locally and also globally. So the current forecasts appear to be good, and whether it's in Islamic banking or in Islamic capital market or takaful, looks like the outlook is positive in Malaysia and outside, and fintech and digitalization efforts are expected to push the growth forward.
It's also important for us to look at the outlook of it, right? Because it's not just about the static situation of it. If we can forecast or provide some kind of clues into what could be next, what do you think is in store for the Islamic finance sector right now?
It is looking for ways to grow and sustain growth and reach more people, give more access to people. This is a continuing discourse for the Islamic banking and finance sector, and the implications of the pandemic means that more and more people need access to funding. The conversations and the discourse regarding what Islamic finance has to offer when you take into account social finance solutions. And the way actually the offerings of Islamic banking and in particular the Islamic social finance solutions could be enhanced through digitalization. This is occupying quite a lot of the discussions taking place now in the sector.
Yeah, you were mentioning about Islamic social finance. The thing about this is that Islamic social finance does have a component that is having a little bit more of a competitive edge over conventional products and services. Do you think that this is going to be further fleshed out? How do you think this will be further developed?
The traditional Islamic banks and takaful companies had begun to look at it. Our regulators are very forward-looking when it comes to getting our financial institutions to push forward these methods. Let's say zakat or waqf or other forms of support for the community. The traditional Islamic banks have begun the efforts in this sector. Let's say we have digital solutions, digital banking, for example. They can offer even, I believe, greater reach for these sort of products. And also there could be solutions for our traditional institutions which have always managed these instruments, social finance instruments. For example, our religious authorities and other organizations, non-bank institutions, state-related or otherwise, will have more opportunities to improve their products, help even more people, help other people. And so this is why this is so important and exciting, considering what we have undergone due to the pandemic and still expected to go through.
Okay, right. Dr. Aida, we're going to go for a short break. When we come back, we'll discuss a little bit more about the digital banking situation of the country. Thanks for staying on with us. I have with me Dr. Aida Uthman, the partner at Zaid Ibrahim & Co. and also the director of Zico Sharia Advisory Services. Dr. Aida, we can confirm that there is a consortium between Green Packet, M24 Taurik as well as Zico to apply for the banking license. Could you perhaps explain a little bit more about the background of this idea?
Yeah, Zico Holdings and the Zico network in general have had a very long experience in Islamic finance. In fact, the Zico network, we began work in Islamic finance since the 90s when it was at its experimentation stage. And now at this stage when we are looking at a very important phase of the growth for banking and financial services, Zico Holdings would like to be part of that and contribute to financial inclusion and reaching the underserved and so on. And we are working with a green packet with a very vast expertise in the cashless ecosystem work, and with M24, which has experience in Sharia compliant financing solutions for the underserved segment. So we feel that the combination of expertise will help us in setting up an Islamic Sharia compliant digital bank, which could showcase innovation, should showcase agility, good services using our blended expertise. That's what it is.
The premise here is that the Sharia compliant digital bank will have the elements of agility, of customer excellence, of execution, the ability to be nimble and to respond to the customer's needs, as well as at the very bottom of it all, which is to be profitable. How do you intend to pull this off?
Yeah, the excellent services would mean good products at good rates, and this is possible because the digital banks, they are able to employ data maybe in many ways that traditional banking cannot do. So this is how they use data, predict behavior, tailor products and solutions, and reach out to customers and cater to those who it is difficult for them to be onboarded by traditional banks, for example. When it comes to the risks, there are some which are similar. Whether it's a traditional bank or the digital one, then there are new types, including perhaps people are thinking more cyber risks, and some people might think, what are the Sharia compliance risks, which in our legal framework is very important to be managed. What are we going to do about it? So our experience is going to help, because we looked at Sharia compliance risk management for a very long time, and we are going to have to look carefully at how digital banks operations differ from the traditional banks and go to the sensitive and the pain points. So let's say for digital banks, there's not going to be actual manual execution documentation for the Sharia contracts. So how do you do it digitally? How do you ensure that the processes are Sharia compliant? So this would mean that we look at the Sharia compliance operational risks and put in place the steps to avoid the Sharia non-compliance and manage the Sharia risks.
The various conversations that you guys have with Bank Negara, do you know when the timeline is like?
I don't have currently more information than what you have said just now.
And because of this, could you perhaps explain why the partners, why this consortium, why M24 Taurik, why Green Packet? What would be some of the values that each of these partners bring to the table?
They are very strong. They are very strong names. They've shown great interest in working with Zico Holdings, and we have a few who are partners as well, who are very interested because they know our work and they have experience with our services, and so that's part of their considerations. And of course, negotiations went well, and that's how things turned out.
What do you think the consumers out there must know about your product in this sense?
It is going to reach a lot of people. It's going to be much more user friendly. So it's going to invite a lot of people who, let's say, they had been intimidated by more traditional financial services to explore, and now that people are very comfortable with mobile instruments and apps and so on, this is going to be more in line with what they have experienced and liked, and I think they will enjoy exploring the financing, investment, payment solutions, and also the financial literacy options that we are going to offer.
All right. Dr. Aida, we'll go for one more short break before we conclude our conversation with Zaid, Ibrahim, and Co. Welcome back. I have with me Dr. Aida Othman, partner at Zaid Ibrahim & Co., also the director of Zico Sharia Advisory Services. Dr. Aida, what do you think is in store for this very vibrant and exciting sector?
Our regulators have been very proactive, and they are trying to move very rapidly, taking into account the developments in the fintech field globally as well. So, we are already seeing some very exciting developments. I think people, I'm not talking about people who understand financial services well. Actually, overall, amongst our population, the literacy as to financial services and knowledge in general is still rather low. But it is an extremely important one, and I believe that it should start from school. But digitalization, if people had begun to explore what they have right now, you are able to pay easily, you are able to order things easily, you are even able to get payment solutions. Let's say you don't want to pay in one shot easily, and you are able to invest easily and compare products at better rates than before. So these are the things that it is very important for the population begin to learn from the moment you are at school. And if you're parents, you have to get your children to start looking at all of these things that are possible. And when the time comes that some of the very, very sophisticated solutions will come our way in our region, then we are able to get better value, and better products and better organize our lives. So this is very important, increasing our financial literacy levels.
Thank you very much. That was Dr. Aida Uthman, the partner at Ibrahim & Co., also Director of Zico Sharia Advisory Services. If you've missed any part of the show, just head on to astroawani.com, look for Notepad over there. You can look for Zico, you can look for Digital Bank, you can also look for Bank Negara Malaysia on our website. Until then, thanks very much for watching and goodbye.